Man, I couldn't take no more. I just, this morning, I just can't take no more. Okay, first of all, you got to start exposing these dudes, man. These dudes, man, they go after these females who are defending black men publicly. It doesn't even make any sense no more. How are you saying that we're men and you're going not after the chicks who are bad mouthing black men, you going after the chicks who are defending black males publicly. I mean, Jesus Christ, man. These dudes in the manosphere, man, I just don't get it. Is it a popularity thing? Is it entertainment 24/7? How are you going to go after the females who defend males just because this female says that three of the black male wait, she didn't even say the word black male, so let me be correct. Her husbands are terrible, and her husbands just happen to be black, but she never mentioned anything about black men. She never mentions anything about black men. She's saying Charlie is an asshole. Locutus. Shout out to the people who watch Star Trek. Locutus is a punk, and Bartholomew from the Caribbean is garbage. How are we in Manosphere defending these three dudes? One cheated on her, one cheated on the entire country, and the other one did some other shanky stuff. What does this have to do with black men? We in a manosphere, dude, I swear we are not calculated. We are not intellectual. We are extremely, extremely uneducated about war and how to win a war. You're doing the same thing that you complain women about if you're bashing a chick who historically defends black males. What is wrong with dudes? Are they trying to get the entertainment thing that bad? What is wrong with you trying to keep the entertainment money rolling that bad when you don't even look at what you're doing isn't even strategic? You're so desperate for content as a black male YouTuber that you want 10,000 people to see this woman who normally protects black men. You want her to be on the I hate men side. You must want that. You must want her to be on the I hate men side. You must want to drive her over there with this childishness. Everybody has a right on the I hate men side. Everybody has a right to do what they want to do on their channel, Q. Absolutely. But how are we calling ourselves men and we not even calculated about the stuff that we do? Are we so desperate for a bag of YouTube money that we're really willing to attack females who are not attacking black men? Ain't no quote against this woman ever said anything derogatory about black men. This woman has defended black men constantly for over 10 years. Even when she's standing around a bunch of women who are talking bad about black men, she's the first one to say, yeah, but our brothers, we got to consider. But the minute she got a problem with a dude that is a woman beater, you want to jump up and defend the woman beater because he's a black man. You want to use your power and your subscribers to defend the dude who did wrong because he's a black male. And because this particular dude happens to be a black male, and the other dude happens to be a black male, and the other dude happens to be a black male, your thinking is, Let me defend the guy who does wrong. There were two people when I put out the video about, now this is a side item because this also just exposing the childishness that goes on in this manosphere stuff. I put out a video about the dude who did wrong, Tito. He pulled a gun on a pregnant woman and robbed her. A gun at 36 years old. Why do you have a gun on a pregnant woman? Why do you need money like that? You beat up a woman at your mom's house. We know it's your mom's house because it's the same address for when you got booked for your rape case. Oh, and let's talk about your rape case. You raped a 13-year-old, try to hide it. Do you know that a popular YouTuber came to me and said, Mr. Research, you should take that down. Tito's a good dude. Huh? Childishness. Just childishness. Tito's a good dude. He got good information. Wait a minute, bruh. Wait a minute. Wait. You mean to tell me you took time out of your day to contact me that I should protect the image of a rapist? No. Forget the rape case. The image of a 36-year-old pulling a gun on a pregnant woman to rob her? No. Let's excuse that case. I should protect a dude who at 40 plus is beating up some woman at his mama's house. See, the reason why Tito did all those videos in the basement, because it was at the apartment that him and his mom lived at from the time he was 20, which is on his charges. When you looked at where he got arrested for the rape case in his 20s, it's the same apartment he got arrested at for beating up the woman, same apartment he put down for his stick-up crime on the woman. Each case has to do with women, not men. Do you know a dude sat up here, contacted me and said, well, Mr. Research, at this point, you need to, let me drop a link for actual factual. This will be a good topic for him. Mr. Research, you need to go see him when he get out. At this point, instead of just talking about him, you want me to go fight a dude who will not get a job once he gets released? That's what you want me to do? You want me to go box? You want me to spend $200-$300 and you want me to fly out to, where is he at? The lower part of Indiana, Chicago, Calmette. You want me to fly out to Calmette in 2022, because that's when he gets released, because he caught another case while he was in. So you want me to fly down to Calmette? That's what the manosphere has taught you. You want me to fly down? You come to me and say, Mr. Research, stop talking crap about my hero, and you need to fly out there and go have this conversation with him yourself. Okay, if I fly down there, it's just going to whoop his butt for what he did to the little 13-year-old girl. That'll be the only reason I fly out there. Dudes, y'all don't even want to protect children no more. You manosphere dudes don't even want to protect children no more. Your whole thing now is hit the like button. For you guys, hit the like button. We waiting for actual factual come up. You dudes don't even want to protect children no more. I hear you dudes sitting up here laughing at the suffering of young boys. The childishness of black males in the manosphere is ridiculous. It's really ridiculous. At this point. Before I continue, let me get a mic to actual factual. Go ahead, sir.
Good afternoon, Mr. Research. To the
I can hear you
audience.
well.
Okay, very good, very good. Um, I don't know the specific female YouTuber I know that obviously the content creator you just spoke on, that individual's past, even though I wasn't around the manosphere as we know it back then. The one thing I will say though, uh, when it comes to female content creators and uh, men giving their critique or giving backlash or admonishment, is it depends on it really depends on credibility. And I think we owe the men this much to be more on the critical side. I think they have every right to be. The last 40 to 50 years of the mainstream media, and we'll just say this has been used primarily, the instrument being black women, to put black men under a microscope. And so we at least, as far as we at least owe them that much. And I'll
Let
say
me
that.
ask a question. Let me ask a question on that. So, are you suggesting that we blindly do this to black women and not be like the Greek mythology, the Greek philosophers or the African philosophers or the Ethiopian philosophers? We just blindly do this toward any women because of the women dilemma?
From what I've witnessed, uh, everyone deserve no. Everyone that is not a part of the intro group, specifically black males, yes, we're not. And I think we can even talk about this one of these days of antiquity and the environments. The environment we are specifically in here, under this empire that we live under, it is it is different in its construction, especially the comparison of the empire you just mentioned, where you had these different scholars were able to well, we know who they got it from, who their teachers were, but anyway, they were able to publish, at least publicly publish, right? From Herodotus and all these other historians, they were able to publish this philosophy and able to ask these questions, make them look objective. I'll say that. They appeared to be objective and were able to do that and go round and round. We've never, the modern world has never seen a media machine or the national media machine quite the way America or the Western world has set up in the 21st century. It's never been seen before. Can we agree to that?
We can agree to it, but here's the issue. How is any of that strategic? Because if we fall into our, and I'm gonna give you the microphone, if we fall into our lust to just make any woman image a target of our pain, a target of our voice, let me put it that way. Do we not do the same thing in the movie 300, where we ridicule the defenseless, mutated hunchback who just really wants to be part of us? And we force that hunchback to go over to the other team. And we didn't even realize how strategically minded that hunchback was. And we make that hunchback an ally. My question to you is, based on what you said, because you said yes, do we allow our lust to create someone that can kill half of us rather than pick strategically who to bash and who not to bash?
Generally, the best course would be to have a fully, as much as possible, objective view, observe, then infer, and then write your results. And then from there you can postulate a thesis of what you think it might be. And all you have at that time, I want to be very clear, all you have at that time is the observable evidence, and or since we're in the age where we're able to, gild and writing and things of that nature, we have people's writings as well as much as possible. But we know the larger concentration of people who occupy this particular website or media platform do have not engaged in writing and blogging and things of that nature. We know their thoughts has actually gotten a chance to be documented. So we don't have that. And furthermore, I would say to you, sir, that we also lacking as far as for the most part, their track record, because most people like myself still, I'm actual factual. There's a bit, I tell you some things, there's a bit of anonymity about me. Same thing with you. As much as Mr. C.A. Trey has talked about his past, there's still a bit of there's still a bit of that mysterious things that we don't know about you, even key things that I even learn about you that adds to the story to give a better view. So it is limited at that. And so while yes, you may want to err on the side of caution, because the asset or personage that we're talking about may be a potential ally. But because of recent history with the unprecedented media machine of the last 40 to 60 years, it has gone literally basically unchecked, except in the way of obscure quotes. And we've had some black male scholars who were able to get on public access TV and able to raise the questions. But again, they were not well known. They were not trumpeted amongst this media machine. So for the most part, it died in the dark. Nobody, their obscurity. Look at Dr. Juwan Jakufu when he published the book, The Plot to Miseducate Black Boys. There's only a couple of interviews with that man, Gil Noble, and a public access TV. But other than that, that great scholar, you know, as far as what we talk about here in the manosphere, we talk about the serious manosphere, who are concerned about the boys and the development, is in obscurity. You would say that to most people. Even Sister, and I'll end it with this, Sister Shahrazad Ali, perfect example. We're talking, you just said an ally, possible person who can be an ally. Again, to most black people, this sister is, her reputation is obscure. If you're not a part of certain communities and thought, uh, certain think tanks and being in around political spaces during a certain time. So just let's consider these things as well. And so yes, the men, while you just described it as being, this lustful kind of kind of mob thing that we see go on sometime with these panels, I myself, I err on the side of, I have seen the men, black men especially, and within this space, be far more objective than their counterparts in their own group. Think
What do
about the
you
channels.
what do you believe my question was?
Excuse me. Your question was: do we not, by taking just uh, this bull in the China shop kind of mentality, destroy everything, right? Or can we be more tactile and, like I just mentioned, using the scientific method, right? Observing, waiting, watching our mouth. I know that's one of the things you expound upon. And then do we make our determination? You're saying, hey, which one seems like the more constructive and even, let's go, efficient way? And I'm telling you, you cannot overlook recent history. And couple this fact, and I'll end it here. You must consider Black men in this space, for as much as you put on them with that lust thing, they have been far more objective and have been willing to even go to the bat and tear their own little groups up because of these things. Think about that.
So yeah, I'm thinking about it, but I'm thinking we all dead just for a temporary show of power. Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. You said tea in a china shop. So if the bull is going crazy in the china shop and several people join together to kill the bull and anybody's helping the bull, what was the legacy of the bull?
Well, what was the legacy of the bull? There
Meaning
didn't
that,
matter.
meaning
Didn't
that,
matter.
meaning that, right,
Mhm,
right. Because the message that the bull or the people in the space that you're talking about
mhm,
is notable. But
mhm.
if you're assassinating everybody without care or will, you now are put out to the masses as a dangerous group. Even those people who have empathy for the bull, even those people who raise the bull and don't want to see the bull to die, they have to nod their head when somebody says, "See how uncontrollable it is." It don't matter how Black Lives Matter started off. It's about the mid-level game, which is the same thing in chess. It's about the mid game. So if we kneel to that lust of we've never had it, so we got to go full out. Fuck these teacups. Then it don't matter to the people watching. They understand when the owner of the teacup gets a shotgun and shoots the bull, and anybody helping the bull. Because the people who helping the bull are going to leave first because they realize the bull just wants to do what it wants to do. This is what I'm talking about, sir, when it relates to childishness. How can we say we are men when we refuse to be mathematical about what we do? You ain't got to do it CA's way, but you have to be seen as a force of intellectuals. And if you're attacking people who are not attacking you, have no record of attacking black men, but just happens to be talking about Charlie, no, Big JX, you come, no, forget Big JX, helmet head, mad bus driver. How are we coming to mad bus driver's defense? Should, if you SYS, then yeah, you come to his defense because he's part of your group. But how is the Hoteps coming to his defense? And how is all these other people coming to the defense of a dude who wants destruction? This is just amazing to me. Go ahead, sir.
I witnessed in relation to this. I witnessed the for the 100,000th time, and other men also on another channel. A woman purposely used deception on a black featured content creators channel.
How?
And how what? What do you mean?
The
How so? How
word
did she do that?
the word deception. What was decepting?
Decepting in the language that the person used to describe the content creator, all these nice flowery things, and then after they said those nice flowery things, begin out of nowhere without provocation to insult his other guest, and then simultaneously simulcast it on her own channel and say how we gonna see if this individual is a fraud or is he real. Okay, that is what we have. But I'm gonna tell you something, Mr. And I can't wait. We get amongst each other, and it may be me being a millennial and that energy coming off. They already see us this way. I remember I told you this. I hopped on the panel with Chun Wakio. some other brothers, and I said a month and a half ago, I said they already see us this way. It doesn't matter what I do. It does not matter. They see us this way. You know this. You as much as you're a man who has looked at antiquity down to the Moors, they see you that way.
Let's meet
Because
in the
you're
middle. Let's meet in the middle. I never
okay.
said they. I never said they did not. So we both agree. No need to restate that. What I'm saying is, and I'm not saying that person who used coercion in your example was not. I'm saying when it's somebody who has no track record of coercion, no track record of, as you say, deception, no track record, why go pick a fight? Let me give you an example of what I mean. Recently, O'Shea did something on Lisa Ray. My question is, when did Lisa Ray ever say anything bad about black males? Have you ever, in the entire time she's been dancing on that pole in that one movie, has she ever raised her voice to say black men are? Have you ever heard that actual fact?
No.
Let's go to her sister. Her sister, with all her lesbianism, little known fact, in the music industry in Atlanta, she dated 3 dudes. She is a lover of the ride. Little known fact. Okay. But she's one of those people where she goes with the leadership. If you're a domineering person and you can keep her quote unquote protected, she will shut up. She serious, as much as she talk, she will shut up, be docile, ready to give head. No problem. But she'll switch up. If she's in a female situation, it's a very unique thing about her. If she's in a female situation, female makes her feel protected, blah, blah. She will man up. She get bossy. She'll wild out the whole nine. So she's one of those people who will flip flop based on the leadership that she's around. Henceforth, a lot of dudes did the brat wrong. Have you ever heard the brat say anything negative about black men?
I'm gonna answer the question. Not that I know of. No.
Entire time she's been out here singing so functified. So here's my question. This just goes to black men and their idea of what's strategic. Why would you badmouth somebody for talking about actual factual? My time dating actual factual was terrible. That dude, man, golly, man, dudes like him need to get right. Oh, she blaming black men. Huh? Is that what we're doing? Is that what we want to be seen as? What the hell are you talking about? This is the part I don't understand. This is the part I call childish because I want dudes to get better because if we take you amongst other let's really get into it, actual factor. We haven't got into this. Ain't nobody else on the panel. If black males right now had to go against samurai without guns, who would win?
Without guns, we both
Without guns.
we both don't
Every
have
no
guns.
You both don't have guns, you both don't have swords, you both don't have knives. And the samurai are smaller than most black men.
Okay. Well, if this is antiquity during the same time period, I'm gonna choose those black men.
Not gonna happen. You
Oh
it
yes,
is
indeed.
okay. So what makes you feel that? Let's get into it.
Oh,
Because I know it's gonna be something physical. But go ahead.
now notice the key word I used. I said antiquity. I didn't say now. So let's get that straight. I said antiquity, and we still might win now. Look at Haiti. Um, how I don't have a good reason for you besides group loyalty.
Here's my thing. There is no group loyalty. Half of these dudes will run. Half of these
You
dudes
just
would evade.
I
The
don't
reason
think so.
the reason
I've seen her
being
back.
is the reason being. And I let you get a lot of mic time. Let me get a little bit. The reason being is because most of these thank you, B Mays, you got it. Most of these smaller Japanese dudes are willing to die. Most of these dudes are willing to commit suicide for the honor of fighting a black guy, for the honor of being defeated by a black guy, or the honor of killing one. Let me switch the topic, and I'm gonna give you the microphone back. Based on what you just said, and anybody can come up, you can hit the stream yard, come up. But based on what you just said, Action Faction, I'm gonna let you rock on the mic. My question to you: the Japanese suicide airplane pilots, remember those?
Yes, I do.
Could black men have been those in your opinion? Could you have gotten black men to go over to another country with no intention of coming back, knowing that they're going to commit suicide for the cause?
We did, and we participated in the war. Yes.
No. But you did if it happened to happen. You didn't do it knowingly. Go over that your whole mission was not to come back.
To my understanding,
Kamikaze.
those men. Yes, I'm aware of
Kamikaze.
kamikaze. I'm aware of kamikaze. I'm aware of what took place in Iwo Jima and all that. Those
Mm-hmm.
specifically those islands, those smaller islands where they basically were, they were it was basically they knew they weren't gonna win. Um, yes, and
You believe black
anybody.
men would be kamikaze pilots? Okay, let me let you add a mic. Go ahead.
Okay, so uh, as I mentioned, I said antiquity with time period. Okay, yes, I'm gonna go with black men. And then if you're talking about their men now and us now, we're talking. There's so many variables. I'm still gonna say yes. Still gonna say
Interesting.
yes. That's why we're feared. That's why we're still feared to a degree. There's why
Mm.
there's still fear. Think about it. Mostly they're not. The nation is not mostly homogenous now. But even when it was, think of black codes, all of those things. Haiti. Think of the actions of Thomas Jefferson, circa Louisiana, early 1800s, because of Haiti, a slave population. Look at what happened in Saint Domingo and what they did and how they set off a chain reaction, how they put in those dictators on the other side of that island to quelch those which were mostly then at that point in time a mostly made up class of mulattoes, okay, which we now
Mm.
commonly know them as Dominicans. Okay, think about that.
Okay.
They were that scared, that fearful. Think of J. Edgar Hoover, a black messiah. They didn't say, I don't hear nothing about no Japanese messiah, even though they were pretty cold with it. You mentioned they're cold. They're known. They were cold. Now a bit of it is, let's just call it what it is. A bit of it is the fascination with with that particular time period, but they're fierce. They were fierce. Russian Japanese war, they were fierce. They were feared. But we're talking about us organized, being on the same playing field. Yeah. Remember, that's why I said you got so many factors, and I'll end it here. We're talking about they had a whole nation behind them. Okay. And I'll end it there.
Have you ever led a group of men yet?
Yes, I have.
Do you feel that the group you led could have achieved some of the stuff that you're saying now?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that's fair. I'm not going to belabor it. I mean, that is your experience, so I I applaud it. I will say a couple people in the chat room disagree with you. So right now we're 3-1. But I understand your positioning. I hope that you're right, that guys are on that level. Um, so when I used to live in Japan for a short time, I had to practice with wooden katanas. And wooden katanas hurt because you still get struck uh, as if someone's going to slice through you. But it's just to remind, the pain is just to remind you of how you screwed up. But it's just, I don't, let me move on. Let me move on. So thank you for the education on that actual factual. So as we move on, I will say this. Uh, Maybe you're right. Maybe creating new women to hate us will work out in our favor. Maybe you know, maybe we need to say something so much that in our we believe that will help us. But I just don't want us to get to the point where we say stuff and then we wonder why the most powerful among us is leaving our side and leaving us to slaughter. And just like many people in war, because I read a lot of war, we're left standing there, knowing that we're not going to go make it back because we chose the wrong approach, might I say. Um, Let me ask you this other question about childishness within the manosphere. Why is it when guys, you see how you and I had a disagreement and we moving on, right? Why do so many people in the manosphere try to bully other people into agreeing with it?
Those men, those people,
Those are men? Interesting. Okay, go ahead.
yes, because men disagree, and men can disagree violently. I point you to antiquity again, but anyway, they do it because of short-sightedness. It is short-sighted, much like the beginning of the discussion. Those men that you were talking about, short-sighted, and I simply say, after all this time on this earth, given black men's history, being the progenitors of everyone, we may want to give them some room.
We give them room. Who's going to help them when people come against them?
If we're afraid, I'll say this. What has been revealed is for all to see. Okay. And now it's so in your face that the women of our group, of our cast, they can no longer ignore it due to, as we see in recent memory, Mr. Kevin Samuels. That they're getting to the point where they can no longer say big black man. That's what I'm trying to tell you. It, yes, we have some dissident, we have some disgruntled figures who want to war, bloodlust, enemy. But you must understand, for the last 600 years, and you know this. Hell, I'll go real deep. for the last 3,000 years. The campaign to smear our reputation is known the world over. The question is, when are we going to get in front of it? And when will we stand for BMI?
So let me get the microphone back. So again, I just don't understand the black man's manosphere theory of don't be calculated, just give them the voice. Let me get the microphone stuff for a second. I do not understand the childishness factor. For me, I call it childishness. I really shouldn't name call it, but I'm name calling the action. Just die, but make sure they heard you. I don't see how that's a winning process. But I I I agree it is one way of doing it, because if they don't kill you, then you've achieved what you need to achieve. I mean, I can understand that. King Sigma, come on up. B Mays, come on up. Brown Bird, come on up. Click the link. Help me, Real Deal Financial. Help me. Well, how is actual? Forget me. Please don't agree with me. Tell me how actual factual is correct.
Salute to everyone in the panel. I just
Wow, your
got
microphone sounds so much better.
I had to
ahead.
upgrade. Brothers. But when it comes to the voice to be heard, I'm just gonna tackle that. 'Cause I'm not gonna act like I actually understood what actual factual was coming across at his point. But I'm gonna say when it comes to the voice to be heard, it's ridiculous. It needs to be a point of action. Like I had a panel, and I have a dude, and you talked to him, Q West. He wants to be able to invest in the DR. He has his own car dealership. He's making money, but he wants to be able to focus on power. And having your voice heard is not power. It can be a start of networking, but that's when collaboration needs to happen, when delegation needs to happen, and that's when an actual blueprint, or like you put the bug on my ear, Q, is strategic planning. If it's not like that, it's pretty much just a whole bunch of crying and baby babbling. But I'm done.
So let me move on to the new topic. The new topic that happens within the manosphere that I feel is let's call it unique. The people who say go get a trade. Okay. This is the only part that I want to deal with. Is go get a trade meaning go be an owner or go work with your hands? Actual factual. What do you say?
Can you hear me, Mr. Research?
Yeah.
Okay. Just everybody excuse any sound that you hear going on.
It's all right.
It is it's not go be an owner. It's simply pick up some tools and do something constructive that you never thought about, that got taken out of schools, most of your schools, and learn a skill. Something that will always stay with you. That's what the talk is.
But does that not mean that you're just service working?
It means this. The American workforce, or most of the mega powers and their workforces, the majority of people are doing what? They're working with their hands. Even
No,
with the
no, no,
fourth
no, 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 no,
industrial
no,
wave
not,
happening.
no, sir, no, sir. Majority of people are using brain power now. The working with your hands
Oh,
crowd is
China?
over with. And you
Oh,
said in
China?
China?
China's doing that?
No, China is working for other people. Yeah, so yeah, China is working with your hands. Right. Go ahead.
Okay, okay, okay. I wasn't. I'm not aware. So as far as that goes, I do subscribe to some, but I'm not aware. That is what they're saying. They're simply saying, hey, black men, go find a craft. Okay, this craft will stay with you for the rest of your life. That's the other part that's not being said, but it will stay with you for the rest of your life. And what was useful workforce, despite the fourth industrial wave happening with technology, despite all that, it was still seen as something that would be a usable skill for the rest of their life. As the men who I've known who've retired from GM and all these other various industries have been.
Now I know back in the '80s, you can, and even in even the early '90s, you can get in some places and be good. But nowadays, man, it's so undervalued the wage of Real Deal Financial. I didn't know that it was even plausible. I mean, if you go in as a warehouse worker, I don't know how you win it. An engineer, you're going to school, so I wouldn't even classify that as a trade. Um, a metal manufacturer is a trade. Uh, what trades are going to help you, Real Deal?
I'm not a big person of the trades. Q, you know me. I'm the raw entrepreneur. So when it comes to trades, I don't necessarily see IT winning because IT is pretty much going to be completely outsourced in this 4 year transition. They're going to bring in all the cheap labor and pretty much wash damn near all the IT brothers. If they ain't creating their own app, like you mentioned, Q, if you ain't creating your own app and making money off of that, it really is nothing stable. And even with creating your own app and making and cashing out, that's not stable neither.
Print, actual factual. So, what trades are the guys able to get above 60? A manager can get 60. A manager at KFC can get 60. What are the guys getting above 60? What trades are those?
Okay, electricians, plumbers, used to be machinists,
Don't you have to go to
operators, or
school to be an
machinists.
don't you have to go to school to be an electrician?
You just specify trades.
Oh, okay.
So all of those have their own. They work as well as I did. They work as well as they go to school for training, and it's highly inaccurate to say that most of it will be gone. I'm talking about skill. You have to look at the BLS numbers and the outlook of the Bureau of Labor Statistics. There's going to be. I'm seeing it right now. There is a huge knowledge and information gap due to the years and experience of veterans. I'm just stepping into that. As you know, I have chosen to be, for right now, set my sights on managerial, maybe even possibly aspirations of upper level management, where I'm actually managing. But as you've noted at the beginning, everybody ain't equipped to do that. That's what you're missing, and that's why I'm kind of getting at is that everybody ain't equipped. You see this space that you've leveled your critique of the space. Do you think everybody's equipped to be, trumpeting or being a head of people, men, leader of men?
No. That's why I think a lot of dudes need women because they can't lead a group of guys to a water on the east side of the mountain. They be the first ones. Where's east? How we gonna know? Go ahead, though, man. Go ahead.
So yeah, that's basically the answer to that question I have for that. Should we be again these emerging these more markets where we spoke to it at length. As a matter of fact, one of our manosphere, I feel or I know is more of the highbrow channels that they're discussing that or holding the stream, or we're holding the stream on that very thing, and that was centered around fatherhood, but also it had the fourth industrial wave. So it is something we need to consider. But then there again, you know, Mr. Sartre, I wanted to hear. I'll let you go. You spoken about even the jobs that require the 4 years. You know, you've said, hey, you know, where are these going? These are dead ends too. So where are we going?
Which one did I say was dead end? One.
When you were speaking about the gentleman cybersecurity and you know those guys, software engineers and things of that nature.
Well, I don't know about cybersecurity. I must have misspoken because cybersecurity is pretty solid. Because it's forever. You constantly got contracts coming. So I don't know. I must have misspoke on that one. And software engineer, nobody really does software engineer for a long time. 1 or 2 years, and they're done.
Yeah, software engineers. That's pretty much what I was saying. You know, software, because there's a lot of dudes in the space of software engineers is pretty much riding high and mighty, like they got something guaranteed.
Right, right. So that is what it is. Let me ask this last question, and either one of you gentlemen can answer. But like I said, I was told by a popular YouTuber that I should take down my critique of Tito being arrested 3 times, all involving attacking women. The guy, allegedly raped somebody, had to do time for it. Didn't learn the lesson there. Waited 16 years later, pulled the gun on a pregnant woman to steal something from her at 36 years old, still living at the same address. And then finally, arrested and now serving time in jail to be released 2022. What are your thoughts? I'm told to take that video down about him having all those issues because he provides good information and he's a good dude. Anybody?
That's some egregious shit. I'm sorry for cussing, Mr. Research, but that's some egregious ass shit.
Let me say it again. The
That's some egregious shit.
dude did all these things, and a popular YouTuber reached out to me and said, "Hey, you need to take this video down. That guy is a good dude." And I'm just saying, because now we got King Sigma here. I'm just saying there's certain levels of childishness in the manosphere that I can't even put the title man next to it. I can agree with actual factual and his pushback, and maybe because there's stylism is one thing. I just don't understand how to fight a war with a bunch of people who just want to yell. I just don't get it. Anybody? King Sigma, what you got?
Well, I'm just now getting in, so I might have came in when you guys were having some questions posed. So I'll just,
Well, let me pose one to you. Okay. So I understand men want to have a voice. I understand there's a lot of chicks that do wrong. But if females have no history of saying anything derogatory toward males, and they just happen to say, I dated King Sigma, he ain't about nothing. I dated a raw deal, he ain't about nothing. I'm dating Mr. Research now. He don't seem like he about nothing either. What does that have to do with bashing black men? Isn't that woman just bashing those individual people?
I mean, yeah, if she posed it like that, if she just posed it that my relationship with King Sigma dissolved on bad terms, I have a negative outlook on him. That's her side of the story. If it just stops there, then sure. I mean, that's, I wouldn't call that bashing. It would be bashing me, but I wouldn't call that bashing black men if that's the statement that she made exactly.
Right. So my question is, I don't understand why we in this space, we've been doing it for over half a decade. Why we go pick fights? We literally go to people's channels and we make people popular by talking about them, and they ain't never thought about black men not one time. Just no history of it. But to actual factuals point, and what do you think about this, King Sigma? Maybe you feel as he does. But actual factuals, like, okay, well, it doesn't matter, Q, because the voice, we haven't had the voice for so long. We need to do whatever's necessary to keep the voice alive and strong.
No, I don't think that anyone should think that you should do whatever. One of those situations where you're cutting off your nose to spite your face, because that sort of victory long term, it'll be a loss. But the full context of what you're saying, I can't really comprehend it because I didn't catch that. But based on what actual factual said about black men needing to get their word out there, that's 100% without a question. But if the other part of it's at any loss, then no, that's not thinking in an analytical way. You definitely want to be efficient in getting your message out and having as many pluses and benefits versus cost and negative, drawbacks or whatever. So the best plan is going to have the least amount of cost of action and produce the most constructive results, in my opinion. So it just depends on if you have a good example that you could present to us, because,
Well, I don't want to name a person and have them get all in a hissy fit.
I don't even mean name a person. I'm just saying like a good example of what you're trying to say, because the question you asked is very, very broad. You know what I'm saying? It's very broad. So if you could narrow the question down a little bit, maybe I could, hit it head on. But just in general, when he's talking about black men in the voice, look it, man, the level of black misandry out here, man, has been exposed in 2020.
True.
The amount of money that's pumped into, and when I say black misandry, I mean anyone that has hate for black men. It could be black men, black women, white men, it could be anyone. But it's almost like the American black man somehow in 2020 has found himself as the pinata of societal discontent. And it's acceptable. Like it's a sport. It's almost become an informal sport of hating black men. You can get rich off of hating black men.
That's true.
Get prime jobs in corporate America. You can get on TV. You can make money and make a living and be validated by the dominant society for hating black men. So I can understand if actual factual was saying anything we're doing to undermine that, I'm with it. I would have to agree with him on that. But if he's saying
on that part of it, yeah.
Go ahead.
On that part of it, yes.
Yeah, so but anything, if you're saying something about a win by taking one step forward, but at the same time you could be taking 2 or 3 steps backwards, no, you don't want to do that because you're still going to end up in a negative position. So you don't want to do that.
Absolutely not. So here's the other thing I wanted to ask the panel. So recently, Ramil put out a statement. 87% of Latin women are single mothers.
Mm-hmm.
So keep the same energy when you're talking about these black single mothers. Anybody? What are y'all thoughts on the panel? Anybody?
Well, for me, 7% of Latin single mothers, if we're talking about Latin mothers, and that's a fact, which I haven't looked it up, then 7% of Latin women are single mothers. But
no, 87%.
What percentage?
87.
87%. That's incredible. Yeah, I didn't even know that. Is that in Latin America? Is that for Latinas? Because in America, that's not the case with the Latinas here. So it depends on what we're talking about. So if we're talking about a situation of if I'm going down to Latin America and I'm going to have the conversation about Latin America, about women on the earth, then yeah, that would be crazy not to bring it up. But if we're talking about American women, that's not the case at all. So
No, you know, to I think specifically he was saying Colombia.
yeah, so if we're talking about Colombia, then that's valid to bring that up. But if we're in a situation where we're comparing apples to apples, and we're comparing American women to American women, that's going to be a totally different situation. Or are we talking about women that I'm with or women that I don't care to be with? That's another thing. So it's
I'm,
like,
I'm going to post a clip of it on this channel because the level of attack that he got for just saying, for just reading an article.
no, I wouldn't. That I mean, when we get into the point where brothers is doing all that, that's just a bridge too far for me. But I would just say that if we're talking about American women and we're strictly talking about the context of the American dating market, then no, that point doesn't matter to me because I'm going to be concerned about the women here. Now, if we want to go to Colombia conversation, okay, so you got a dude that's about to jump on a plane to Colombia. And is he going to Colombia in that context and he's dealing with those single mothers? That's the first thing. Or is he exercising the same kind of standard that he would apply to American women and say, if his standard is saying, I don't want to deal with a single mother, then yeah, I would bring that conversation up. If he's now telling me, yeah, I went to Colombia and I'm dealing with a woman with 2 kids by 2 Latino dudes in Colombia, then that's going to be a valid conversation to have. So, sometimes we be taking these different pieces and we want to make an argument, but then it's not an apples to apples situation. You have this apples to oranges kind of thing. So I haven't really partaken in a lot of panels over the last couple months since COVID started. So I'm probably, a little bit out of the loop on a lot of what goes on.
Well, stick around because after this round of questioning, I'm going to ask you about that Biden comment to the black leaders, and you're going to.
Oh yeah, okay.
So actual factual. Let's get you on that. So Ramil again was making a comment about Colombian women and 87% of mothers. One guy on the panel even said, he lived out in Colombia for about 4 years, and he was dating a couple of women who hid their children from him. That he said on the second year, he found out the person had a child, that type of stuff. My question, actual factual, and we'll get to MC Worker and Raw Deal after this. But my question, actual factual, why wouldn't we not have the same energy for those single mothers that we do in our community? Is it only because of going to court, or what is it?
Well, a similar panel was held. This is probably a panel, kind of dovetailing from that. The way I've got the sentiments I've gotten from men is that it's not a black woman. And she don't, I know this isn't sufficient. I know you're a higher level thinking brother, and seems King Sigma is too, and other brothers are on the panel. But that, as I told you, it kind of goes back into what we were talking about in the beginning. The sentiment is they've shown so much deference, and it basically only to be spit in the face. Their enemy of the enemy is their enemy. I mean, their friend of the enemy is, I don't know, man. However it goes. You know how it goes, okay? Keep your enemies closer, basically. They are that.
Enemy of my enemy is hence my friend. Actual factual.
Correct.
Enemy of my enemy is hence my friend. That's the old Arabic saying.
Correct. They have basically, like I said, they've been sitting in the face. They felt like they've shown so much deference in the face and against all odds, that they don't even care. Is a sentiment I got, because I heard another brother who his wife's from Dominican, but he spends a lot of time back and forth between here and Colombia. He was asked the same thing from another black man in the space. And when the black man trying to pin him down and say, hey, well, wait a minute, brother, if we spot all these single mother statistics on these black women and how that leads to them being undesirable mates, why don't we have the same energy for those women down there if their bachelor rate, not bachelor rate, but if their single mother rate is like that? Is it rivals it or is more. And the response was basically, his response was, now he didn't really, his answer was this: they are still paternalistic in his view because they are with everybody. Now, me and you can have me, you, and Sigma, and all the brothers on the panel can have a conversation. We'll dig deeper. What are the economics, right? See, we're gonna dig deeper than that brother, and that brother's got a degree.
Hold on. Here's the reality, because here's what we got down to it on Ramil's show. The women in that space don't have the ability to run the court. That's really what it came down to. They don't have the infrastructure or system to run to court to get their children's father to do XYZ. That's what it came down to.
Well, something I would say to add on to the single mother thing is that, again, we have that kind of conversation about single mothers. That's a very macro discussion if you just say single mothers. But when you're talking about on an individual, how he may operate in the dating market, you'd have to also say that, well, are all single mothers created equal? And if you answer that question, when you say, no, they're not created equal, well, then that's going to be where you're going to have the conversation about how is one single mother different from another one. I personally feel that you could just take an example of a woman that's been married. So let's say you got a woman that's been married and she became the single mother after a divorce. That's going to be much different than, let's say, a woman who was 16 years old and she got knocked up by some dude or whatever. Her kind of dating history, who her baby father is. It's a lot of things that go into play. And I think that for me, I just keep it simple and say that her having that baggage is just another liability for me. Because again, I have to go in my own process as I'm dealing with her. Okay, who's her baby father? Is he mentally stable? What kind of decision maker has she been?
Yep.
She got knocked up by some dude who's a bum. Then that tells me that she's a bad decision maker or a bad picker. I look at all kinds of things like, what is her relationship with her father?
You do have to have a conversation with the prior man in her life at some point in time.
Hell yeah, she got kids. You're gonna have to. If you're talking about a woman that you're trying to do something long term with, it's gonna come a point.
Even if it's the uncle, it's gonna be you going over for a family picnic or something. Somebody gonna have a discussion.
But what was centering, but basically what I'm saying is that from what the discussion has been, and I've heard Ramil, this is the first time Ramil got flack for that. He's gotten flack for it before because he just straight out said it. Is that, hey, listen, I don't want to use, this is your panel, so I don't want to use, Anyway, basically, hey, you brothers are showing deference. He said this a year ago. He said you're showing clear deference without even checking the statistics. He said you're showing clear deference, and you're basically going, as long as she ain't a BW, it's all right. And that he said that before, and he's gotten torn apart. He got torn out the frame by some SBM brothers who were like, no, as long as she ain't that one right there, it's all good. And so
now you say that now here's a question I would ask, because I didn't get to listen to you guys' panel, but I'll just say this based on what you said. Okay, you have to understand that the American black man is raised by black female culture, right? He's raised in a black matriarchy on average in America. This is a fact. So a lot of times brothers when they say that, they're speaking to the culture, not necessarily to the black woman or to the black man. It's a cultural thing that they're familiar with when those guys do be saying these kind of things. So to them, a female coming from a more patriarchal culture, to a lot of guys by default, they see it as a superior culture to the black matriarchal culture. Now that's a debate that you can have, but that's what a lot of guys I've heard, because I've had a lot of conversation with, guys that think like that. And their whole thing is the culture. They believe that is a superior culture to the black matriarchal culture. So that's why they say that, because it's like, okay, if I believe that 100 women from a certain culture, I don't even have to know the women, but if I believe her culture is superior to another culture where I say this is an inferior culture and I'm going to take 100 women, my belief, just even if I just threw a rock into one of those different groups, right? My belief, if I truly believe that culture is superior, is patriarchal, I believe that 7 out of 10 times I'm going to get a better feminine product out of that group versus the group. If I say this is an inferior matriarchal culture that doesn't produce. What's that?
Here's the pushback on that. The culture is the way it is because of the male structural thing from the son on up. Machismo is what runs La Familia. So even if the daughter is older and the son is a little boy, everybody, including the dad, the older sister, and the mom, turns their attention to the development of the younger boy. Everything is about the son in that demographic.
Yes.
That's go ahead, sorry.
And that's what allows it to be the patriarch system that it is, because the women, even as older girls, are never in the thought process of, I'm older, I'm superior. No, I'm older, I need to protect my brother. That's their thought process. So we as Black men coming into that just to fuck or just to enjoy it, no, you're going to have to maintain that philosophy. When your child is born, you're going to have to not do your old matriarch teaching of, let me get that for you, daughter. No, she can do it herself. She could. You see what I'm saying? Black men have a tendency to come into these patriarch scenarios and F it up.
I don't know about that. You'd have to show some historical records for that one.
Well, I would say also that something else to add to what you're saying to probably strengthen is that not only are you talking about the family institution, which is the building block of society, but also like the church, the laws support that machismo culture. See, what has happened is that with Native Black American men, we don't have the sovereignty and the backing of the state and the other institutions. So it's so dependent on the family block. We don't have any room for error in terms of the family part, because that's pretty much the only thing that Black men have. We don't have a state that's going to back let's call it Black chismo culture, right? Let's say Black men wanted to establish a Black chismo culture here in America. You're only going to be able to do that on an individual level and in a like-minded group level, but the state is against you, the government's against you, the schooling of the children's ideology is against you, the church is now against you as well, because they've fallen into identity politics as well, for the money, of course. And you're going to do it like that. So they have that going for them as well. So
let's get something from NC Worker. Thanks for your patience.
Oh, no problem. Thanks for having me on, as always. What it really comes down to is that what Black men are going to do for a collective for their Black sons and for the Black men themselves. That's part of also the aspect of being machismo, is that it is the preservance of men, being men within their communities. But it's pretty much already stated that we as Black men, we do not have that. So it's up to us as Black men to be able to start working on changing that culture and our way of thinking.
How?
Well, aside from talking about, we have to start putting into the action what we're talking about. But we just can't just be speaking about and have the same conversations over and over. At some point, we're going to have to start putting these conversations into action.
We've been talking about putting it in action for over 8 years. Raw Deal Financial, Real Deal Financial. How do we put these solutions into action?
Creating an LLC, getting a lawyer, like you said, getting accounting set up, and figure out how to become more of a merchant. It has to be done where you got products ready, you got your distribution lined up, and you actually have inventory ready for actual sale and capture those transactions. It has to be like that, man. We can't have it where another 4 years of dudes pretty much saying, "Oh yeah, we need to implement, brother. We are implemented." No, we're not. Like with my consultants on my channel, they made money under what I pretty much told them. They made money and they paid for my services, and everything's reciprocal, everything's mutual. Those are dudes implementing.
So then you're doing it. See, again, it goes back to the individual and small groups of like-minded people. I just guess I'm living in a different reality, right? Because I'm in an area where, black men that have their plan, they're executing it, man. Those that don't, they're just getting left behind in greater numbers. But there's a group of black men that they get it. They don't have to be constantly babied to go do what needs to be done. Sometimes I get the feeling when I have conversations on this side of YouTube, man, that it's like listening to someone in a room say, how many people got in the room? We got 1 million people in the room. Well, we need to get 2 more million. Well, what are we going to do when we get 2 more million? We're going to solve something. Okay, you get another million. then in another room, you got one guy in there who says that he knows how to do software engineering, right? Then there's another guy in there saying, well, I got a background in marketing. Then there's another guy in there that says I got a sales background. And then there's another guy that says I have like a 850 credit rating. My Dun & Bradstreet business score is perfect. Let's come together, create like a little business plan, because we're going to do X, Y, Z. We're going to create a product or service that solves this problem, right? Now,
King Sigma, the beautiful part about it is I help them get to the suppliers. I literally help them get to the suppliers, and they do exactly what you just said. But finish your thought, G.
Oh, I'm just saying that, yeah. I mean, you're going to have the person that does the logistics part, if that's the bridge to the logistics. But my point is that there are so many people. If you ever heard of WeWork, right? They rent out personal temporary workspaces, and I've been there before to their different locations, and I never see more than a group of like 5 to 7 people, bro. There's never a group of 5 to 7 people, but these guys are running multi-million-dollar businesses, but they don't want to work at an office building, so they come to the WeWork space to get out of the office, and they bring like one little team, the same as in undergrad, where you got 3 to 8 people or whatever, and they're doing it. See, that's where I'm at with this whole conversation. And that's why I'm not going to do too many panels ever going forward unless it's constructive because, dude, at the end of the day, I'm tired of hearing people complain about why you can't get it done. So if you're going to keep telling me why you can't do it, give me the reasons why you can. All I ever hear is why you can't get it done, yet I keep going into these rooms and buildings and seeing only a handful of people in there making million and billion-dollar deals every day with less than 10 people. But these people just want a room of 1 million people. We got to get every million person on board to do what? Nothing.
Yeah, I agree. After this, we'll go into the Biden thing. The Biden thing will be our last thing. Factual, you have the last word on this topic. We cut you off earlier. Go ahead. We can hear you, Act.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, how about now? I'm sorry.
What's the last word on this topic?
My last word is that if you study economies or economists, look at what's going on, real world economists, the majority of these big offerings and these companies able to get the financials that they are, it's because of wealth that's been acquired and relationships and network they have with these huge institutions or these shadow banks, VCs. Those are guys that are really playing with some money, doing something, getting things done, hiring people on large scales. We have a bunch of solopreneurs and a bunch of brothers with they have good intentions, but until we crack that bank or figure out a way to get in there, we're always going to be running the hamster wheel, guys. I'm sorry. It just is what it is. Playing with $1 billion IPOs and things of that nature, man. You have to see what's going on.
All right, you guys going to love this part. I'm going to drop a video called White People Laughing at Black Leaders Not Holding Biden Accountable. Listen to this.
Union-based student-run branch program was focused on financial education. Today.
All right, here we go.
Joe Biden, they say the Democratic Party relies on their base, which is black voters, black women especially, right? They vote like 99% Democrat. So there was some audio leaked. He had a meeting with some civil rights leaders. In a recording obtained by The Intercept, Biden was unenthusiastic about executive action and warned against police reforms before Georgia's Senate runoffs. Okay, so you want to hear some of it? So here, and here's the audio.
And so we would ask you to lend your voice and your strength and your influence and your power and your ability to reach across the aisle to try and pass the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act. But failing that, we would ask you to pull from that act measures that can be enacted by executive order. You have the power to call for a national database on police misconduct. You have the power to ask for a registry that will allow people to easily search in public multiple misconduct complaints against particular officers. You have the ability to impose a database around police killings and police shootings. And these are things that you can do by executive order.
Okay, let me respond.
So all those things, that's exactly true. He could do all those things just like that. And that's why before you pledge your vote for someone, you make sure he pledges to do that stuff for you if he wants your vote. Nobody did that. You weren't allowed to do that in 2016 because Trump, and you weren't allowed to do that in 2020 because Trump. You weren't allowed to demand from a politician something for your vote. And so now these black people just all voted for Joe Biden, and you heard what they demanded, what they're asking for him, because we already voted for you. I've already explained to those people, that's not how politics works. You got to get him to agree to shit before you give him your vote. They did it their own way, and watch what Joe Biden says back to them.
I've got to go. Let me respond. There's a lot to respond to here.
Yeah, I got to go. Look, I'm awesome. Peace. I got to get out of here. Here we go. Here's his response, right?
Let's get something straight. You shouldn't be disappointed. What I've done so far is more than anybody else has done this far. Okay? Number one.
So they just said, you shouldn't be disappointed, okay? That's how he responds. Look, I'm going to say no, and I'm going to be an asshole about it, all right? You already got your vote. Fuck off. That's what he's saying, right, Ron?
You want someone to be nicer, go talk to the other Biden.
All right, there's a lot more to this, so here, let's play it.
Number two, I mean what I say when I say it. I mean what I say when I say it. I'm the only person.
What is this guy? He's like Johnny Two Times from Goodfellas, huh, Ron? Isn't this guy?
He says nothing, but then he repeats it, so like it seems like he said something like let me say it: a tisket, a tasket, a green and yellow basket, a tisket, a tasket, a green and yellow basket. Like what the hell? It still doesn't mean anything, buddy.
What are you guys' thoughts so far?
Well, I mean, it's right in the sense that, yeah, that's not how politics work. You make sure that you get what you want, then make sure you solidify with your vote. You don't do it the opposite way. And also, too, I mean, he's right. Pretty much that, he just pretty much saying a whole bunch of nothing prior to this point. And he did practically say, proverbially, shut up, just whatever, just take, I'm in office now, it doesn't matter, and just you should be happy. He's basically telling them, and also inclusive of black people, that as a collective, that you all should be happy that I just got this position, and that that you guys should just be happy and just go on about your very lives and stop asking me about anything else, because I'm not going to do anything else for you.
Real deal. What are your thoughts?
That Pimpan is strong. That Pimpan is strong. He pretty much said, man, shut up. Shut up. Shut up.
30 seconds.
But, a lot of people remember Q when everybody was pretty much saying, we think about that later. We need to get him out. Okay, you got him out. Now what? But I'm done.
Okay, actual factual. Go ahead. You got 40 seconds.
That's Joe Biden for you. There it is. You traded in Donald for Joe. There you have it.
Okay, you cutting off. You kind of Borgin now. We got to fix that. You are Borgin. 40 seconds, King Sigma. What do you
I
thought?
would say that he is who we knew that he was. This man had a track record of nearly 50 years in public policy. Go ahead. I can't. I mean,
No, you keep talking.
okay, yeah. So yeah, he had like nearly 50 years in public policy. We knew his track record. Many independent thinking black men tried to warn the black voters to treat their vote like it's gold. They decided to throw it away, and they went with feelings. And he's basically using the token argument. He's saying that I gave you an artificial black woman, you co-signed her. He wasn't sure that was going to work because after Kamala Harris got ran out of the primary, that was a gamble. He didn't know if the black majority would accept her as an
actually she didn't run out of the primary. I told people that when she bowed out quickly, she made a deal. She made a deal. So that's what that was about. I want you guys to hear some more. I'm sorry to cut you off, King Sigma, but I value y'all time, so I want y'all to hear some more.
I mean what I say. Okay, good for you.
Who's ever run on 3 platforms that I was told could not possibly win the election, and I never ceased from it. One was on restoring the soul of this country because of what I saw happen in Charlottesville. That was it. No one else was talking about it. The words of presidents matter. Nobody else. No progressive.
Nobody else was talking about Charlottesville? Wow, how many protests did you attend, Joe? Are you going to lie about being there as the people you stood beside too? Nobody was talking about Charlottesville? That's like saying nobody was talking about 9/11. That nobody was talking about Charlottesville. The whole country was talking about Charlottesville. What does he mean by that, Ron?
Well, in fairness to him, he did run on some bold agendas like nothing will fundamentally change. I mean, that's just...
Here's more.
Was talking about it. I did.
That's it. So that's his. As they ask him to exercise his executive authority and to do some executive actions that would help their community, his response isn't, "Of course I will." His response is, "Fuck off." I said some shit that should have been nice during the campaign. That's it. I'm done with you. The fuck do you think? That's what he's doing. Really, that's not a stretch. It's the exact same tone. He's just not saying fuck.
He's like that bitter relative that like you ask for something and they just go on a tirade about something from their past
Yes.
that they shouldn't be patting themselves on the back for. You know, like, hey, Uncle George, can you not use the N-word? That's not appropriate. That's a really horrible thing to say. Can you not do that? Hey, look, I had a black coworker that I said good morning to for 30 years. Like, oh, okay, that has nothing to do with anything.
Now, Ron, you remember when we covered Ice Cube on the show, he was talking about this exact thing that just happened. So watch what he said.
The way it look, they don't have a plan.
They don't have a plan. Joe Biden does not have a plan for you, workers, or anybody, black people, Hispanics people, poor people, people without a job, people without health care. He does not have a plan. He doesn't.
Everybody's, talking about get Trump out, get Trump out, get Trump out. If you vote, that's going to happen on the first day. So now what? Trump out, now what? What do we get in the first 100 days?
Nothing. You get yelled at.
That's what we're trying to figure out.
You get nothing.
What
you get yelled at.
we actually get that they could give us overnight like that?
Nothing. He could give it to you overnight like that. And Joe Biden just said, go pound sand. You should be happy with what you already have. I already did everything I'm going to do for you. I said some shit about Charlottesville during the campaign. Go fuck yourselves.
Okay, actual factual. What are your thoughts?
I've heard. To be clear, I've heard it. His get tough talk. When you demand nothing, this is when we had
30 seconds. 30 seconds.
You had opportunity to. The Black Electric had opportunity to, and they fumbled the ball because they listened to a black Miss Leadership class there.
What do you think about the black leaders sitting there listening to that?
Clyburn.
The same black leaders who told you, just wait, we'll hold them accountable.
I'm appreciative of this space, man. We've had actual black, I'll say representatives, we'll say that, who've been screaming about this, that this is the outcome. And this is what you spoke about Chest earlier. This is the position you put yourself in by not being what you just said, strategic.
I tell everybody, it ain't about opening moves. It ain't about finishing moves. It's about middle chess. Middle chess is way more important. King Sigma, 40 seconds. What do you think, sir?
Well, I would say that if you listen to the debates and the campaign the whole time, Joe Biden made it clear that the moment that he got the crown, that he was going to pivot to Latino agenda, the alphabet agenda, and the corporate agenda. He was Senator Credit Card from Delaware. Let's not forget that. So those are his three priorities: corporate dollars, Latino grooming of their population, and giving the alphabet community what they want to set up. So to me, it's like it was so clear in every way that was the goal, because every time that a topic came up about a black agenda, he would always pivot directly to talking about the Latino vote. Now,
side question. What do you think about his appointment of Askill, the same guy who got rid of Sherry Sherrod as she was helping black farmers? He gets
his nickname is Jim Crow Joe for a reason. I mean, this is the same guy that was about to put Rahm Emanuel after his failure. He was going to make him, like, I think he still may, the Secretary of Transportation. So at the end of the day,
20 seconds.
You don't just change a tiger stripes someone that's 80 years old. Okay. So what you have is a man that's just reverting to his comfort zone.
Hold on for a minute. NC Worker, what are your thoughts, sir? Oh, NC Worker gone. Let's hear from Real Deal. What are your thoughts, sir?
This is terrible, man. This is horrible. We didn't leverage no type of. I don't think black people understand leverage in a grand scheme of things. Because they literally got mad at ice cream. They say, "Shut up, shut up."
I'm surprised he didn't say the N-word, to be honest.
Man, that dude, he sounded like he was talking to a group of fucking slaves, bro.
But Al Sharpton ain't did shit. Al Sharpton ain't did shit.
Hold on. I got to play some more, gentlemen. Hold on.
That's what Joe Biden is saying to Ice Cube. That's what he's been saying all along. They just haven't been listening. I've been trying to tell people this is what Joe Biden is saying to you. But everybody's like saying, but Trump. Do you want to hear some more of this unbelievable meeting he had with civil rights leaders? Listen to this. There's some more of Joe Biden talking to his base.
I'm the first person, black or white, who called attention to the fact that you were finding that there was the rate of people who are African Americans are dying was 3 times that of white people. I don't carry around a stamp on my head saying progressive and I'm AOC. But I have more of a record of getting things done in the United States Congress than anybody you know. Anybody you know.
Boy, he is like Johnny Two Times from Goodfellas. He really is Johnny Two Times if he didn't work for an upstanding organization like the mob. I mean, No, that's all wrong. Wait a minute. As FBI Director Trey Wilson said, and married to the mob is run by murdering, thieving, lying, cheating psychopaths. We work for the President of the United States of America. Okay.
Anybody you know.
So he just said that he's gotten more stuff done. Here, I'll play it again.
I'm the first person, black or...
Now, gentlemen, stand by, because this is the best part of this whole thing.
White, who called attention to the fact that you were finding that there was the rate of people who are African Americans are dying was 3 times that of white people. I don't carry around a stamp on my head saying progressive and I'm AOC, but I have more of a record of getting things done in the United States Congress than anybody you know. Anybody you know. Anybody you know.
You know his record for getting stuff done? He got the Iraq War done. He got the bankruptcy bill that screws poor people and working people when they go into bankruptcy. He got the crime bill done. Oh, he also got the deregulation of Wall Street done. He also got the Bush tax cuts permanent. He got that done. He also got the banks made bigger done. He also opened up the Arctic to drilling twice, got that done. He also got 5.1 million families kicked out of their house during an economic downturn. Got that done. He also got cages built to house immigrants. Got that done. He deported more Hispanics than all the other presidents combined. Got that done.
And that was more than anybody you know.
What are your thoughts? Let's start with King Sigma.
I mean, again, bro, if there's anything, this guy sounds like someone who he had a history of lying and plagiarism. I mean, he's gotten every kind of pass that any politician could ever get. So for him to lie and say, I'm the first person to ever say that blacks are dying in the streets at 3 times the rate of whites, you are a fucking idiot. The argument, black on black crime, do you know how many times I've heard that statement, black on black crime? That statement has been going on since the Moynihan Report, since the 1960s, since the incarceration.
Well, that's because they was doing it off broken windows. Remember, broken windows was created 4, 5, 6 years prior, and broken windows was a fabrication to say that we're not arresting enough people, because after people stopped robbing banks, arresting people kind of went dormant. So they created broken windows to say King Sigma's house is pale and his back window is broken. Because of that, I'm going to judge this area as opposed to the area across the street more crime ridden.
And he was right there.
Windows means is the appearance of things.
And he was the architect of that. He was one of the main people, like the white dude said. You know, he was one of the main architects of all that legislation since he got himself into Senate. So to hear him say I was the first person, this and that, it really shows me just the level of ignorance and infant way of thinking that a lot of Black Americans have in this country as we close 2020. So for me, I don't have any emotional reaction to it. Because again, this was a 2-year campaign, so we all had these conversations for the whole 2 years I've been familiar with your channel. So we knew what was up, right? We knew.
Hold on. Okay, actual factual. What are your thoughts?
This man was a late associate.
You have gotten you know after listening to this, you have gotten extremely calm during this podcast. Go ahead, sir.
I didn't realize that. This man is a late associate of Strom Thurmond. Okay? That's it again. And this man has never made a full mea culpa of what he's done. And he's been asked, he's had gaffe after gaffe, or let me just say,
hold on, sir. Black people say they're gonna hold him accountable.
No, they not.
I didn't hear that. I didn't hear that. But wait a minute. I never heard that. Charlemagne asked these people.
How you hold them accountable after the damn situation's done? I don't get it.
Cardi B. You go get Cardi B. No, go ahead. Actually,
these people who right, go get Cardi B. Get your boots to the polls, right? And all these high-minded, man. Let's just go ahead and call it what it is, man. All these high-minded, fake feminists, man, black feminists, okay. With all their high-mindedness, talking about how much self-aggrandizement of how black women hold everything up, and black men, you better, Maxine Waters, you better not do it, or you gonna get punished. You ain't gonna forgive you. This is what you got, okay? So pie in the face, and we've already said, let it happen. Good.
Hold on a minute, gentlemen. Here's some more.
So you remember this? You remember when Joe Biden? So this is how he talks to black people after the election. After they all just
now, mind you, these are white people making jokes of how black people are getting treated. Let me say it again. These are white people making jokes of how black people are getting treated. Hold on.
Voted for him. This is how he talks to them.
When you come to New York, BP Biden.
Remember this? Remember this when he was asking for their vote? Remember this?
No, it's a long way into November. We got more questions. You got more questions, but I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump,
and you ain't black.
It don't have nothing to do with Trump. It has to do with the fact I want something for my community. I would love to see.
Take a look at my record, man. I extended the.
Oh my God.
So whenever somebody asks for something, his response is, shut the fuck up, man. You got everything. I already fucking did everything for you. Shut up. What the fuck do you want? Something for your vote? What? Go ahead. Sorry, Ron.
Look around you. Everything's fine. Oh, great.
That's his go-to. Here we go. And then he lies. And then now, so first he says, shut up, be happy with what you got, and then he lies.
Iraq's 25 years. I have a record that is second to none. The NAACP's endorsed me every time I've run.
No, he had the NAACP. By the way, the NAACP never endorsed Joe Biden. He just said they've endorsed him every time he ran. That sounds very Trumpian, that level of a lie, because the NAACP never endorsed him, not one time. And here he is talking.
And mind you, the leader of the NAACP is in the meeting. Al Sharpton is in the meeting. Roland Martin is in the meeting. Hold on, I gotta let you hear some more of this.
On a black show saying, if you don't like me, you're not black, and I'm gonna lie about black support. That's who Joe Biden. So that's him asking for something for his community, and Joe Biden says "fuck off" and then lies to him. That's pretty awesome. Here we go. This is who Joe Biden is. That's the shit he gets done in Congress. That's the shit he gets done in Congress. He got mass incarceration, built more prisons, longer sentences, escalated the war on drugs, and he targeted African Americans. Joe Biden sounded like he was about to ask for that black guy's manager on that phone call, didn't he, Ron?
We should expect him to be worse because he was horrible on the campaign trail. I mean, when that Latino activist asked him about immigration, very diplomatically, he told the guy to go vote for Trump. That's what he told him to do. He's like, go vote for Trump.
Yeah, the guy said, hey, but what are you going to do for these immigrants? And he said, I'm not going to do anything. Go vote for Trump. And the guy said, I'm not going to vote for Trump. I'm asking what you're going to do for these people here. And he said, go vote for Trump. I'm not going to do anything. That's who Joe Biden was on the campaign trail. That's who he is. And you're an asshole if you bring that up. You're a jerk if you report on that. You're a jerk if you tell the truth about Joe Biden. That's not only the journalistic community, but that's also in the comedy community. Have you experienced any of that, Ron?
Yeah, I mean, a little bit. Leading up to the election, absolutely, where it was like, you're not allowed to say anything bad about Joe Biden. I mean, I even had, like, they were sharing, like, different videos on like, Facebook groups and stuff, and they didn't want to share one of mine because I made fun of Democrats. They're like, we can't make fun of the Democrats right now.
Do you always find yourself on
And gentlemen, that's dangerous. When you have people who are telling people, white and black, not to say too much about the guy. Let's go down the road. We're going to start with Real Deal. These are your final thoughts, gentlemen. Real Deal, we'll start with you. What are your final thoughts?
My final thoughts is, damn, the media can pretty much have black people so wound up where they don't even see what brick wall they gonna hit. This is crazy. Oh boy, pretty much saying, well, I could talk to y'all any way y'all want. Y'all monkeys gonna vote for me anyway. And that's sad.
What are your thoughts about all the black leaders being in the room? The same black leaders who got to go back to us and tell us everything's all right.
I don't know what they can possibly say. Everybody pretty much saw this.
6 months from now, they're going to be telling you it's under control.
Then that's when pretty much the people are starting to have a mind of their own. Because Claudia Jordan pretty much glossed over this as well on Fox Soul.
All right, let's move over to Actual Factual. What are your final thoughts, sir?
Gentlemen,
does anybody hear how soft this guy is getting? He is so. I can tell when Actual Factual is upset. he just gets real like, hey, yeah, okay. Go ahead, actually. You a dude, man.
There you go, man. See, now I can't even do it no more. But fellas and ladies, if you're listening, remember, be constructive. Come to conclusions. You heard King Sigma say it. We want to be efficient. You guys, with this bloodlust mentality and things of this nature, be constructive. Come to conclusions very as quick as possible as you can. It'll help you out in the long run and help you process it out. And take people at their word, as reference as to we heard President-elect Joe Biden. Take people at their word, people. Okay? All right.
Mr. King Sigma, you have the last floor, sir.
Yeah, I mean, for me, like I said, man, it's been a long and exhausting time, looking at politics, reading all the material during the last 24 months. And it's been so great for the last, 2 months to just decompress from all of that. And for me, everything that Joe Biden's showing before he even has been won the election legally, he has proven that he's not going to do anything for the black majority. His whole game is the game of the Jim Crow generation of tokenism. They were the tokenism generation. And his whole thing is like, look, his shield against black critiques on what his policy will be in the first 100 days, in his first 2 years or whatever, his shield is going to be Kamala Harris. He's making that very clear. Kamala Harris is my shield. She's going to be my liaison between these civil rights, quote unquote, frauds or whatever that he was talking to. Because again, he hasn't even gotten into the White House yet, and he's treating them like children. Once he gets in there, what he's going to do, he's going to designate all that kind of black stuff to Kamala Harris, and she's going to designate it to her communications figureheads. That's how that game's going to be played. And there's no leverage that those black spokespeople have that they can use now. Once he gets in there, what are they going to do? You have the best opportunity to become what you say you want to be, a swing.
I gotta put a joke in here. Massa, King Sigma know how to read.
Man,
he running.
Man,
I go get for Massa.
That's how they sounded the week before the election on Black Twitter and Shea Butter Twitter and Divest Twitter. That's exactly how they sounded. So now, again, I personally, I don't want to hear anything from any black Democrats that voted for Biden. I don't want to hear anything. It's real simple. Like, you won't hear me talking about it. You'll hear me laughing about it, but you won't hear me talking about what Biden did or didn't do, because I know Biden's going to do what he's done for 50 years and what was done under Barack Obama, nothing. So
he tried it with the cash bail bill that they put out. No cash bail. He tried it with that.
Look it, man. We talking about Joe Biden, bro. And at the end of the day, this is a guy that's come from that Delaware, that Pennsylvania working white class kind of culture. He's not going to do. He has two things going for him that is his shield. He was Barack Obama's vice president, and he has Kamala Harris. It's a wrap, bro. I don't know how many times I gotta say this. He has the shields and the defense mechanism in place. He's letting those frauds know. Look it. This is where I stand today. Once I get in there, my priorities are corporate America, immigrants, and the alphabets. And I would say with him, it's more immigrants. He wants to groom the Latino vote because, again, like he said when he was on the campaign trail, the Latinos are diverse. You got to work for their votes. You got to earn their votes. With the American Negro, you don't have to work for their votes. You don't have to earn their votes. And
I missed that part. I missed that part. Did anybody? I'm sorry, I missed that part.
Yeah, I heard him say that.
Did anybody hear the part? Hold on.
Well, you dates is the official.
I thought you guys heard that part.
Tweeted that on March 5th and said, sometimes you work twice as hard and still don't reach the same result. I thought it was Bernie who was the yeller.
Hold on.
40. This country is going to be minority.
Oh, yeah.
That once again.
By 2040.
Oh, yeah. This is the beautiful one.
Or with Hispanics.
I'm sorry, gentlemen.
By
make fun of the Democrats right now, and I'm like, okay, you know, you don't need any of my stuff, I guess. But yeah, I mean, since the election's over, not as much, but maybe, I mean, in fairness, I don't look at every single tweet response I get. So
okay. So all right, so let's move on. Here's more Joe Biden in this call. Here's more of it.
By 2040, this country is going to be minority white European. You hear me? Minority white European. And you guys are going to have to start working more with Hispanics, who make up a larger portion of the population than y'all do.
Oh, man.
Nigga.
What the fuck?
Niggas.
His response that whenever you ask him a question is to just yell at you. Is to just wag his finger and admonish you. You're going to have to start working with Hispanics in 2040.
Niggas.
What the fuck?
For real. He talked to them like they were slaves.
And I ain't going to do something about climate change until 2050. So fuck you. Again.
Man.
Fuck you. That's all he's got.
whenever he talks, it sounds like he's being ejected from a sporting event. Like, I just want to cheer on my Scranton Flyers. I just want to. I mean, I pay my taxes. Like, sir, you have to leave. You threw a beer through the glass. You have to go. I'm sorry.
So let's listen to that once again.
By 2040, this country is going to be minority white European. You hear me? Minority white European. And you guys are going to have to start working more with Hispanics, who make up a larger portion of the population than y'all do.
Biden campaign doesn't consider Latinos part of their path to victory. That's the headline. He just wagged his finger at black people saying they're going to have to start working with them. He didn't give a shit. He didn't work with them. He doesn't give a fuck. No, that's because whites are still the majority, Jimmy. As soon as the whites are no longer the majority, then we have to work with them. Does he sound like Trump? The answer is yes. He sounds actually more thin-skinned than Trump. Because he company. That's called making you pay a private company money to enrich them.
So I'm sorry I didn't play that. I did want you guys to hear that. Whites by 2040.
Q, can I say this? Can I say this?
Go ahead.
At least the other guys said that we actually helped build this country. And you can find old boy on record that actually even Super Sly even showed the clip of old boy pretty much the other guy that was supposed to be so pissed off that we just pretty much say, okay, we'll take old boy pretty much banging on us saying that we need to help him out. See, I'm telling you, his pimp hand is strong. He pretty much said, African Americans, you need to help me get the Latino.
Like I said, the two billionaires were better than this. As much as people didn't like Bloomberg and the other guy, the other billionaire, they were better than this. I was rooting for the other guy. I got to bow out, fellas, but I wanted you guys to hear that. Jonathan got his last words in. Actual factual or King Sigma, y'all got any response to the?
I would just say my last thing, and I'm out. Thanks for having me on. And said, look, anything that Biden does, you earned it. You didn't. You threw away the little leverage you have. America is a majority minority vote country, meaning the majority gets theirs in their voting power, and the rich minority gets theirs through their dollar power. So either bring in voting power, dollar power, or both, or you are going to be pushed to the complete margins. And the way it looks, Biden's letting you know you're going to be pushed to the complete margins. We'll pay a couple tokens, but our focus is on the Latinos and bringing in 10 to 20 more illegal Latinos over the next decade. With that, I'm out, man.
All right. Actual factual. Your thought.
Just 10, 15 years more, gentlemen, and baby boomers and Gen Xers, man, they're going to be close. So it's on us. So.
All right. Thank you, sir. Thank you, everybody that came through, man. I am out of here. Got to get me some rest. Much love and peace.